Good morning. We're really delighted to have you here today, this morning. My name is Andrew Fuligni, and along with Adriano Gavan, together we direct the Center for the Developing Adolescent. We're very thrilled to have you here for our 2022 UCLA Symposium on Adolescent Brain Development. And our focus this year, as you all know, if you haven't looked around the room all over the place, is on supporting exploratory learning during the years of adolescence. What you see here on the slides that have been scrolling through here are quotes from members of our Youth National Scientific Council of Adolescents in response to a number of questions that we asked them about exploration, learning, and risk-taking. And as these have scrolled through, if you have gotten a chance to look at them, I think you have probably identified a number of key themes that is resonating with them, and I think these are going to be things that we're going to be talking about today. There is a strong desire to explore ourselves and the world around us. There's a lot of excitement about the process of discovery. There's a lot of scariness about the process of discovery. I think they mentioned being shy, being nervous, the idea of leaping into the unknown. They mentioned the needs for adults to support this process, but not control this process. To nudge gently, I think, is what one of them has mentioned, to try new and different things and to catch them when they fall. There's the all-important value of doing this with their friends and their peers, that this process of exploration is critical to do together with their friends. And finally, there's the important learning that takes place. There are quotes about finding passions, breaking out of our shells. Failing is not as always bad as we thought, and as you see, we have one of our sessions focused on thinking about failure. And you never know what experiences can change your life. So these are the members of our Youth National Scientific Council of Adolescents, just to give names to the faces. They're a great collection of young minds and strong spirits who are brave enough to join CDA in this journey of helping us to disseminate and translate the science of adolescence. They're very excited to join us. We're all sort of co-creating this together. We've only just begun, and they are already nudging us, and not necessarily very gently, I would point out, about how we can do our work better and how we can invigorate this sort of all-important task we all have to disseminate and translate the science of adolescence to better the lives of our youth today. They couldn't be here today. They're busy finishing their classes, graduating from high school, graduating from college, but they and we just wanted their thoughts represented here today, and I hope we can keep them in mind as we sort of go through in our different sessions. So we can go to the next slide. So, at any rate, here we are. We have envisioned today as an ongoing discussion about different themes about how we can best support exploratory learning during the adolescent years. You are a combination of practitioners, scientists, trainees, and funders who all have strong interest in this issue, have great insights into this issue, and we have distributed you equally across these different tables so that we can have these series of conversations. You all have a great deal to share to this question, and we want to hear from all of you. As you can see from the agenda, we have broken down the day into sessions that focus on 4 key questions. We will start each session with a moderated discussion with a scientist and a practitioner that's moderated by one of our graduate trainees. That will take place for about half of that session. We will then move the conversation to the table, and you will have your very specific table-based conversations. The speakers will also be going back to the tables to participate in that conversation. Let's see. I should point out that we do have one change that unfortunately Joanna Williams could not make it at the last minute, but Nancy Deutsch is ably filling in for Channel Joanna. That's a big channel to Joanna's insights, but Nancy has incredible insights into these issues herself. What else should I say? Oh, you'll notice there are the sticky notes at your table. So as part of your table-based conversations, and also during the moderated conversations, and at any point today, if there is an insight that you have about something, hey, this is really good, this really resonated with me, this is something that we want to elevate, write that down on the aqua. If you have a question that hasn't been answered, or if you think there's something that we don't know and that we really should know, please put that on the red. So questions, things we need to find out, things we don't know, go on the red. Insights, conclusions, ideas, go on the blue. And what we're going to do is that at different points during a break, we're going to ask you to place your stickies on these whiteboards underneath the particular topic that sort of drove that particular question, okay? So the idea here is that you're doing this throughout the session. Don't just wait for the conversation. Anytime an idea comes to your mind, we will put it up there. We are also very fortunate to have Anne McCall over here, and I think there is Anne. We're very happy to have her from Liquid Sketch Studio. She will be recording our conversations graphically. Some of you have had good experience with this kind of thing. Sometimes they're called visual note takers. And this really is a process of synthesizing a lot of these complex ideas that we're talking about into words and pictures in real time in order to help make our ideas more memorable, powerful, and shareable. What we will do later in the afternoon, you see there's a, quote, gallery walk. What we will do is take a moment after our last session, and we will walk around the room, look at the sticky notes that we've all put up there. We will be placing these boards around the room, and the idea is that you spend about a half hour or so walking around, looking at particular insights that other people have gained, what comes to your mind. You will bring that back to the tables, and we will have a last half-hour session to talk about what we know about the things we've been talking about, and just as importantly, what do we not know and what do we need to know, either from a practice or a research standpoint. Finally, I just want to note there's sort of just a few items of swag there for you to pick up. There's a notebook, there's some pens, but there's also this game from 10 to 25. And this is a game that the Frameworks Institute, Marissa, raise your hand, invited us to join them in helping to create. And a number of people in this room were beta testers as we went through the process of developing this game. This is a card game intended to engage in a process of storytelling with you, your partners, interested parties, people you want to convince them about the importance of investing in adolescents and the kinds of things that they need, the people that they need, the resources that they need in order to meet their important developmental goals and have a thriving youth and transition to adulthood. So take this. It's a deck of cards right now online. All the instructions are there. There's also an online version, but we encourage you to take this home, give it a try, test it out with your staff in the beginning, and then go ahead and play it within any other kind of gathering that you might have. But it's a very fun and useful thing to do. So without further ado, I think we're just going to get started with our first sessions.